Hello and welcome to weekly Kashmir University Video Digest Quest. First, a look at the highlights. Professor A.M.Shah takes over as the new Vice Chancellor of University of Kashmir. University bids farewell to Professor Talat Ahmed. And workshop on Himalayan biodiversity and bioresources held. Now the details of these events with your host Toiba Pandit. Professor Ali Mohammad Shah is the new Vice Chancellor of Kashmir University. Professor Shah took over the reins from Professor Talat Ahmed. A gold medalist in commerce, Professor Shah did his PhD on strategic management and marketing management. Professor Shah has served university on various important positions including Dean Academic Affairs, Controller of Examinations, Dean Faculty of Commerce and Management Studies, Director Business School, Director Distance Education, Dean Faculty of Engineering, and Dean Faculty of Music and Fine Arts. Professor Shah has been a member of important academic bodies within and outside the university and has visited some leading universities and institutions in USA, UK, Poland, Germany, Turkey, Finland, UAE, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, etc. He recently visited China with a high-powered higher education delegation mounted by FICCI to understand the essence of good universities. Professor Shah has also written a book, and besides, he has contributed 80 papers in national and international journals. He has also carried a number of research projects. Talking to Quest team, the new Vice Chancellor, Professor A.M. Shah, in a brief message outlined his plans. He told that he is hopeful that all the officials, teaching faculty, non-teaching staff, students, scholars and civil society members would support him as they have been extending their support to him earlier.
I am grateful to Honorable Chancellor of the University and Honorable Pro-Chancellor of the University for reposing trust in me. Inshallah, I will see to it that this university works smoothly and effectively during the period I am the Vice Chancellor of the university. I am delighted because I have received huge cooperation from the faculty members, the students of the university as well as non-teaching staff whenever the control examinations or Dean Academic Affairs of the university. I seek the similar kind of cooperation from all the people concerned.
Professor Shah said that his aim is to make University of Kashmir as one of the best universities in the world.
We will inshallah see to it that the university becomes one of the best university in the world. The focus of all operations shall be on how we can improve upon the operational effectiveness of the university and how we can design the future strategy so that what exactly is required for the university in future, we can do that. There are many projects which the former Vice Chancellor has started, and the certain projects have been started earlier and certain programs have been started. The focus will be how we can see to it that these are completed on time so that the benefit goes to our students, and we'll see that all the stakeholders will help us in seeing to it that the university becomes one of the best universities in the world.
Kashmir University accorded farewell to Vice Chancellor Professor Talat Ahmed. All the teaching and non-teaching faculty members of university assembled at the committee room of the administrative block, during which the members highlighted the good work done by Professor Talat. During the meeting, the representatives from both the teaching and the non-teaching faculty highlighted the contribution of Professor Talat Ahmed towards the academic growth and expansion of the university. Dean Academic Affairs and current Vice Chancellor, Professor A.M. Shah, Dean Research, Professor Khurshid Andrabi, President QUTA, Dr. Salahuddin Taq, President QA, Dr. M.S. Sumbli, and President KUMSA, Ghulam Ahmad Jilani, appreciated the role of outgoing Vice Chancellor.
Being honest, I will just conclude it in one word. He is a Vice Chancellor with a difference. Normally in management we say only those companies are successful which make difference. He is the Vice Chancellor or was the Vice Chancellor with a difference. There is a record what you have done. talk about examination, talk about IT sector, talk about administration, talk about engineering college. And not only that, being honest enough, the other vice chancellor may be in fact afraid to do certain things. When we talk about engineering college, being honest enough, still it was in the air. He got an idea, without getting the minutes, he called me, we called Madin Sahab and started working on that. Such was the basically the level of difference, or such was the level of commitment that he wanted that it should not take more time.
Professor Tarab, and he trusts us to the extent of 100%. There are no fractions, there are no percentages. This is what I am telling you and sharing you from the core of my heart.
In fact, these 3 years have been a great time for us at the Department of Students' Welfare. Our students represented our university, not only at national level, but even at the international level. This was your vision.
May I introduce, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Talat Ahmed as one of the stalwarts of science in India. But these things have largely remained behind his vice chancellorship. And those are the credentials that won him the prestigious vice chancellorship at Jamia Millia Islamia. It was always wonderful working with him. I am always short of words when you have to praise somebody on his face. But the fact of the matter is that things that are in my mind have largely been spoken about. I wish him all the best. And needless to say that we'll always be in touch with him wherever he goes. We'll not just let go of him.
A scientist of repute who put in hard labor and consumed his eyesight in blood over a night and sat with us, stayed with us, working hard, contributing in all directions to make this university as a center of excellence.
Please, so fast. We could not arrange this. We're sorry for that. But I promise that we'll compensate it in future. I again thank you for all the good you have done for the teachers. Thank you very much.
क्योंकि इनका पॉजिटिव अप्रोच रहा तो हमें भी पॉजिटिव ही रहना पड़ा और शुक्र अल्लाह का और इनकी जो नोबिलिटी है वो हाईली अप्रिशिएबल है और हमारी तो दुआएं सिर्फ ये हैं कि इनकी जो नई तकर्री वाइस चांसलर सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी जामिया मिलिया इस्लामिया में जो हुई है वो इनकी कामयाब रहे और अल्लाह ताला इनको खुशो खरम रखे और उस जिस यूनिवर्सिटी में जाए वो यूनिवर्सिटी भी तरक्की करे.
Others who spoke on the occasion included Professor Shabir Ahmed Bhatt, Professor Moyuddin Sangmi, Professor Farooq Ahmed Khan, and Dr. Nasir Iqbal. The speakers, while congratulating Professor Talat's appointment as Vice Chancellor Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi, unanimously expressed gratitude to the outgoing VC for taking KU to new heights and academic excellence. Later, speaking to the Quest team, Professor Talat Ahmed said that he had done a number of things for the university during his reign that mostly pertain to research and infrastructure.
I wanted to have a university where academics is in the forefront. Academics both has good teaching as well as good research institution. Now Kashmir University is one of the top ranking, I'll say, state universities in particular. Compared to most of the state universities, we are doing very well, and I am sure that in future also the Vice Chancellor who will come here will take the reforms forward that I have started. Another thing is that I have my own first time, you may be surprised, that in Kashmir University I was the first, I will not say Vice Chancellor, but as a faculty, I brought an international project which was never here under the Australia-India Strategic Fund, where our students will be going to Australian National University and Sydney University and Melbourne University, where they will be able to use some of the sophisticated machines which was not possible, it's not anywhere in this country.
Professor Talat said that he has very fond memories of the university.
I have lots of very good memories. I have been attending to many of the functions which the students of this university have organized. So for example, we had all through 3 years the Sonzal program, where we had students coming from different colleges and showing their talents and improving upon their talents. Another important and very fond of memory is my visit to the hostels. I have visited all the hostels and had dinner or aftar with my students, and I feel that they are very talented, and they have been very good wards to us. And I also brought some of the scientists to talk to them in the hostel in the evenings, and we had even a very famous woman scientist from the US who came and talked to the girls.
He said that he would continue to support the academic and research pursuits of Kashmiri students and scholars, particularly of those from Kashmir University, and would do whatever possible for them in his own capacity. Department of Botany, in collaboration with Indian Academy of Sciences, Bangalore, Indian National Science Academy, New Delhi, and the National Academy of Sciences, Allahabad, organized 3-day lecture-cum-workshop. The lecture-cum-workshop was held on the topic Himalayan Biodiversity and Bioresources, Mapping, Utilization and Conservation. The inaugural function of the 3-day workshop was held in Botany Auditorium. Head, Department of Botany, Professor Irshad Ahmad Nauchu, presented the welcome address.
This was established in the year 1961, but from that time onwards it has traversed quite a distance and diversified in many different fields, wherein we have been able to actually collaborate and cooperate with institutions, not only at the local level but at the international level, where we have been able to cooperate and collaborate in deriving strategies for assessment of whatever the global biodiversity potential is, as well as exchanging what are the achievements made by the scholars and students in this department with what has been achieved by our products in other universities and institutions outside. That is where the concept is not only to collaborate and cooperate, but also to help the progenies to actually trace newer and newer versions wherein they can collaborate with such institutions.
Convener of the workshop, Professor Uma Shankar, opined that research materials of all the universities should be coordinated with each other and learn lessons from them.
I feel that it will be of great sort of benefit to carry the, should I say, the learning, the lessons from many of the research work that are now done by the colleagues in these institutes as well as in other parts of the country in such an interaction where we can converge all of that to ask ourselves what is it that we can sort of launch in terms of Himalayan biodiversity with a 3 sort of, I would say, axis. One, as Dr. Irshad mentioned, was to know what we have. What are the biodiversity elements we have in the Western Himalayas, in particular, in specific? Second, if we know what we have, then we have a handle to make a judicious and, should I say, sustainable use of it that can value add on the bioresources in many, many ways. And third, of course, is to now keep a check on that we don't have a runaway value addition, to also conserve those elements that need to be conserved. If this is done, in my opinion, great science can be done. At the same time, the science that would be done would have great implications to the applications towards management of this entire Himalayan biodiversity.
Registrar Professor Zafar Ahmad Rishi felt that while many people talk about biodiversity, they have no thorough understanding what it means.
My feeling is that many of us do talk about biodiversity, but we do not somehow have a very thorough understanding of the science of biodiversity, isn't it? How to say map it, isn't it? What is the science involved? What would be the methodology? What is the methodology that has to be followed? Isn't it? And then there are several papers also written, what are surrogates, so on and so forth. And I believe in that perspective, this workshop is very important, particularly the lecture of Ganesha, presumably would be on mapping of biodiversity. That would be very helpful, at least to our students, and I would appreciate that if we also actually have hands-on training. I mean, some of us have hands-on training on mapping of biodiversity at the lab of Ganesha, so that we are also able to establish a similar type of a lab here, and then somehow, this map biodiversity the way it has to be.
Vice Chancellor Professor Talat Ahmed said that one of the problems of disaster-prone areas is that no mapping is done there. He said mapping provides an opportunity for the experts and scientists to have a rich data on the biodiversity and topography of various ecologically fragile areas of the state.
We had a big disaster in Kedarnath and all this area, and we realized under the umbrella of DST and all the other scientific organization that how much idea we have about our areas. How much, say for example, in Manu, we wanted to know what are the maps available, how much are the information available on the map, and we really felt very bad that it is very, very poor. I don't know, it is at least for geology it is true that we have huge batholiths like Ladakh batholith which runs for hundreds of kilometers, and if you see the map it is all one red color. If it was United States or Japan, it would have at least 500 colors. That means they would have mapped that properly. Okay, but we simply put one color that ye sare ek hai. I know geologically there is a large difference in terms of rock types and soil, so definitely the biodiversity should be connected to all this, and also the elevation difference. Okay, so how much we know about it, how well we have actually mapped the information.
On the inaugural function, Professor Uma Shankar also presented a book titled Himalaya, Mountain of Life to Vice Chancellor. The 3-day workshop saw a number of participants talking on a variety of issues. The concluding ceremony of the 3-day workshop was held in the Botany Auditorium. Workshop coordinator and assistant professor, Department of Botany, Dr. Manzoor Ahmad Shah, summarized the proceedings of the workshop.
Were very exciting, very thought-provoking, very insightful in terms of the novel knowledge, and then equally intense there were the discussions, and it really looked like a workshop rather than that routine conference business.
Vice Chancellor Professor Talat Ahmed urged participants to focus on getting big projects that will prove beneficial for them in academics.
I have been going to different meetings and particularly for the funding agencies. What I see is the latest trend is that they support mega projects, not the individual small projects, mega projects that comes out as a spin of a workshop. Project that Professor Zafar Rishi was mentioning, the Indo-Australian Strategic Research Fund project that I got in Kashmir, was a spin-off of workshop that we did in Himalayas with some 12 scientists from Australia. Unfortunately, their government did not allow us to have them come here, so we did that in Manali. But the good thing is that out of that workshop, we could get a very good project, and now our students, our teachers have the benefit of going to Australian National University, Sydney or Melbourne, and their students will be coming.
Professor K.N. Ganesha, who was the special guest on the occasion, expressed satisfaction for the way workshop was conducted.
I was pleasantly surprised to see that there are more girls and ladies in this hall than the boys. And as a matter of fact, with that gives me a lot of confidence that the biodiversity of Kashmir is in safe hands. There is a saying, I don't know whether it is in Hindi or English or in Kannada, but the meaning of that I know. It is said that if a son is sent to school, only a boy is educated. If a girl is educated, the entire family is educated, the family that she reaches. And in the same way, I would say In the same way, I would say, because there are so many girls here, the research also perhaps will spread to the entire country through these ladies here and the learning that we have been having here.
Many participants also spoke on the occasion and presented their views. Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Dr. Seema Singh, conducted the proceedings of the function. That's all for today's episode. To watch all the episodes of Quest, log on to our website EMMRCKashmir.com. Send us your suggestions at our email address quest@EMMRCKashmir.com. Before I take your leave, here are a few words of wisdom. Death in war does not simply happen. It requires action and agents.